And we're back, part 3 of the Gilera runner restoration project. As you can probably hear, it's raining, so you might have to put up with the sound of the rain hitting the roof today, but what do you do? One minute it's baking hot, the next minute it's pissing down. So today on the list we're going to do servicing the brake calipers and the front brake master cylinders. We haven't got any rebuild kits or anything, so we're going to pull them down. Hopefully they can just be cleaned up and they're good to go, but if not, we'll probably end up stealing some parts off the 180. Depending on how far we get through today is if we do anything else. I had an order come from GPS Imports in Melbourne. Got a belt, fuel filter and an air filter from them. They seem to stock quite a lot of parts for Derby, Piaggio, Gilera and stuff like that. Turnaround time's good, prices were good. So yeah, if you're looking for parts in Australia, GPS Imports in Melbourne, pretty good. Yeah, so brake calipers, front brake masters, maybe something else, see how we get on. Start off with the rear caliper. So we got our 6mm Allens, which hold it, are the mounting points for the caliper. 6mm Allens which hold the caliper together. And then obviously the what is it? It's not a banjo bolt, is it? Is it a banjo bolt? The bolt that holds the brake line to the caliper anyway. So this one is a 14mm, so 14mm to break that free. These are both 6mm Allens. So I'll start off by cracking these loose, and then I'll crack that loose, and then we can take it off. Better off leaving it mounted because it holds the caliper solid for you while you take it apart, because if they're a bit seized up and you've got it off of the bike, it can be an absolute pain in the arse. So I'll get that one off. And over to the front, we've got our 6mm Allen for the mounting bolts, and then the 14mm for the brake line bolt. There's actually 2 more Allens on the other side of this, but because I put the front wheel in, I can't get to them. Well, actually I might be able to get to them. I might be able to get an extension in there. Let's see if we can see them from the other side. Yep, there they are. So we'll crack them loose while they're mounted. So I should think they are probably a 5mm Allen. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong. But yeah, we'll loosen those off. Loosen off the 5mm Allens on the back of the caliper and the 14mm brake line. We'll crack them loose and get this caliper off as well. I need a 4mm Allen to remove the brake masters, and then to undo the bolts, the brake line, sorry, up here. They're like a screw-in fixing. That's 11mm. So now I'll just get both of them off. Once they're off, I'm going to get an air line and I'm going to blow all the junk out of these lines. I'll leave them in situ, I don't want to pull them off. So we'll just blow them both out because they are full of syrup. So I managed to find a fitting that's the same thread as the brake line bolts, but they are blocked, mega blocked. So I'm going to try sticking some of this. I mean, I don't know if this will work, but a bit of that in the lines and just get on with the calipers. See if it frees up, but it's the same with this one as well. They are just blocked, so it might be a matter of, if I can't clean them out, I'm going to have to change the lines over from the 180 to this one. So yeah, that's where we're at with the lines. Look at the state of that. Now, if I'd have serviced all the calipers and the reservoir and it weren't working, I also jammed the welding rod down there. I would have been scratching my head as to what's going on, and it would have been the block pipe. So hopefully the front one's cleared up. So a little bit of start your and a nice solid welding rod managed to free up the gunk and clear those out. So I'll try the front now. Try and get this held out. That one's still blocked. A bit more fidgeting about with that one. That front brake line will not, or hasn't cleared up yet, so I'm just going to have to leave it for a while because there's only so much I can do. It will be just easier to take out the line off of the 180 because I know that one's good to go. Start with the front caliper. Fives here. Split this open. Rear brake pad's good, as well as the front, so nice. Happy days. Something else that I won't have to spend money on replacing. These are real dirty, so give these a good clean up. Come on. Everything come undone. Which is always nice when you're dealing with old stuff that's usually seized. Right. See if we can get that little copper piece, I'm sure it's whatever it is, piece that the pads sit on out of there. But these are mega seized up. See if I can push out this guide. Good. Yep. That's out. Now we're going to get the pistons out of the calipers. They're heavily seized. So what I'm going to do is throw a rag in here in front of the pistons. I'm going to use the air lines, so be careful because sounds like it got on. There you go. I managed to not launch them into space, which I have done previously. Look at that. You can see that. I'm not sure where the camera's pointing, but very very dirty. Oh mate, that's syrup. So I'm going to clean everything out and put it all back together. If you're removing the seals, which I probably should, just get yourself a little pick, and there's a thinner seal in the front groove. I don't know if you can see this, and then there's a bigger seal in the rear groove. I'll get them out and clean them up. So I'm used to using WD-40 to clean everything up because I haven't got any workshop degreaser left, but normally I would use that or brake cleaner. So they might need a bit more work because stuff doesn't work as well as that. On like the pistons and any sort of like moving parts, I wouldn't use any abrasive stuff, but with these retaining pins for the brake pads, I'll use a just a little Scotch-Brite because they are so badly like pitted and roughed up. So I'll clean those up with a bit of Scotch-Brite, but things like the pistons and that, I'll just use something soft like this cloth. And then also if you're reusing the seals, if they're any good, Be careful not to stretch them when you're cleaning them, because they won't go back in, and then you'll definitely have to replace them. But they seem okay. So anyways, I'll clean all this up and then get it back together. Alright, giving that front caliper a bit of a soak, because that stuff is so gacked up, I just can't get some of it off, so I think just leaving it to soak is the best bet. So now let's do the rear caliper. Pull that apart. So that's just these Allen bolts, split pin and the retaining screw. So that is the rear caliper apart. In one side of them you've got a little seal that goes in there, which marries up to this side. So just make sure you don't lose that. It's easy not to miss it. Put that out. So mega dirty like the other ones. So I'll clean them up. I'll put fluid all through the channels, and blow them out with the airline as well. So same as that stuff. Pistons will clean down with soft rag. Retaining pin I'll use a bit of Scotch Brite on, and I'll just give everything a nice clean up, and then we'll put it back together. So everything cleaned up. I just recut the thread on there. It wasn't knackered, but it was very corroded, so giving that all a good clean up. I'll probably chuck a little bit of copper slip on these, because they often get seized. Actually grab some grease. Where's the copper slip? No, let's seal these. I'll find it in a minute. So yeah, we'll just get some heavy duty grease and just put a very thin layer on the pistons before we put them back in. All the seals are back in there, so then we'll get it all back together. For reference, this little I don't know what you'd call it, it's like a spring loaded thing that separates the calipers, but anyways, that's the way that it goes in, because they're always a pain in the backside to remember. And this one goes in like so. Lovely. Calipers all cleaned up, nice and fresh, well, refreshed anyway, so they won't be seized anymore. Also grease up these two little whatever you call them, little shafts that go in there, because that moves. But yeah, calipers done. Now onto these. So Phillips screwdriver, undo them. What's that, 10mm, 12mm. Take the levers off, and then pop all these out and have a look, because this front one was seized. So, I mean, you can see it's possibly knackered, but we'll have a look. That's the front brake masters done. All cleaned up. If you do want to open them up, you need to pop this seal out with a flat nose screwdriver, and then there's a circlip in there. I just took them out, they were full of gunk and grit and stuff, so cleaned them all up, cleaned all the rubbers up, cleaned all the internals up, and now when I put my thumb over the end, I'm getting a bit of pressure, so fingers crossed they're good to go. So that's the rear caliper on and bled. I just used the syringe and then reverse bleed it from the nipple up the line up to the brake master. So that's that one done. Obviously the front brake line is no good, so I'll have to get that off the 180. I have thrown the caliper on, So it's good to go. And the master's on as well, which I think should be sweet. It had the same reaction as the rear brake master. We had suction or pressure in that, and yeah, just a matter of getting that front line on and then reverse bleeding that, and then that's the brakes all done. Me for today, I'm pretty much over it, to be honest with you. I'm covered in rubbish, I'm dirty, I'm tired, and I can't be bothered, but the brakes are pretty much done. So another thing to tick off the list. If you like the video, like it, and if you're following, then subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.